Over the last 25 years, has there been a subject more ponderously present than food? Humans have always had a deep connection with food, which makes sense because we kind of need it to exist. But the last couple of decades or so, the cultural presence of food has been turned up to 11. If you're old enough, you remember the emergence of Food Network. It began in the early 90s. It gained momentum with Emerald Live and Good Eats in the late 90s and exploded as a cultural phenomenon with the likes of Rachel Ray, Paula Deen, and the next Food Network star. This utterly genius marketing strategy turned a utilitarian function into a new global zeitgeist. Everyone in the galaxy was madly pursuing elevated food art. We were all salt, fat, sugar, and plate presentation all the time. We weren't just feeding our families anymore. We were seeking social validation through expensive cookware and flavor palettes. Eating ceased being about fueling the body and became a sporting event with sponsors. And I wonder how much debt was amassed by overspending on designer cookware and bespoke kitchens. Then about 10 or 12 years ago, the fitness and wellness industrial complex instilled in the more fitness-minded the obsession with macros, micros, calories, food timing, intermittent fasting, paleo, keto, vertical, vegan, veggie, raw, and a whole utterly confusing array of must-do-or-die regimented eating plans without much concern for factors like genetics, lifestyle, and practicality. How many people do you know who were terrified into a diet that ended up making them sicker or weaker? So, what do I always evangelize here? Balance. Like everything else in life, when you see two polar opposites fighting for control and market share, you can very nearly be guaranteed that the place you seek is somewhere in the middle. Also, like nearly everything in life, there is nuance. There's validity to be found on both poles. Proper preparation and flavor is important for food. Otherwise, we're not eating it because there are thousands of options. But on the other hand, we need to be mindful and keep account of what we're putting into our one and only body machine. What we don't need to do is find ourselves walled in by a prison of obsession over either one of these. Very few meals need to be an event, nor do you need to spend your life doing advanced food calculus. One solution to this kerfuffle is to simplify the entire process. But this is not an easy road down which to start walking. The culture is so psychologically and chemically addicted to consumption that any deviation seems like death, and quite honestly, it ain't far from that. In order to simplify your nutrition to something valuable and dispassionate, you are going to have to allow ingrained habits, those parts of you that control your actions, to die. You're going to have to redirect your entire mindset about food. Well, let's actually say about 90% of your mindset, because really I don't want to live in a world without cookies and ice cream. But we need to let go of three main things: food choice overload, defaulting to hyper-consumable, ultra-processed foods, and using food to identify and validate ourselves.